We're talking about leveling up your life, tips from a successful entrepreneur. Jay Malone is here. Take your success to the next level with some practical and powerful insights. That was a lame opener, wasn't it? Hey! Oh, yes! Good morning! Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where we explore growth, success. And we don't do lame openers like that. Oh, no, we define the rules to achieving your goals. Yeah, I'm living a day longer. My wife's living a day longer. Everybody's living a day longer on a Wednesday. And I'm your host. I'm Keith Billis. And before we jump in, holy farteronies. Hey, team, I didn't say smokeronies. No, I said farteronies. Yeah, the Canadian thing. This is an R-rated experience. Yep, it's true. I'm going to give you a pause, put the kids' headphones on before I drop the F-bomb. Nope, not saying it. Nope, just not going to say it. No, not going to say it. I'm going to let the F-bombs for Christina Flynn later on today. And Johnny might drop a few jokes around the peanuts later today, too. But hey, I'm just telling you, put the headphones on and keep the kids safe, because you never know what happens here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Today, we are diving into a topic with a guy from Jersey. No, I do not got John Bon Jovi on the show. I'm sorry. I couldn't afford him. And no, Bruce didn't show up either. Bruce is busy doing his thing. Springsteen just over there, born in the USA. So today we're diving. Yeah, we're going to dive into leveling up your life, tips from a successful entrepreneur. Listen, you're laying there going, do I get up? Do I hit the snooze bar? We've all heard about leveling up, but what the hell does leveling up actually mean? Today, we're going to break down actionable tips. Yeah, Jay's got some tips. Johnny's got tips. Martin's got tips. I might have a tip too. No, we're not talking about the tip of the tip. Hey, listen, we're going to break down actionable tips that you can apply today to take your career, your mindset, and your health. Oh, yes, your health. And of course, I've got the crew with me here. I'm going to pivot myself to the camera over here, Johnny. We got Marty, we got John, we got Christina Flynn, and of course, we got producer Jimmy. Yeah, on the buttons. We got a bunch of people showing up on the comments and the feed already. Good morning, everybody. Hey, I'm going to ask you and remind you, if you're sitting here, Jimmy, bring everybody on stage, man. You got to bring them all up here, brother. There's Marty, there's Tina, there's Johnny, there's the crew. Good morning, fit presenter. Good morning, Wait. Good morning, Eric. Did I sell cars before? No, I sold cell phones. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I sold a lot of them, too. Yeah, anyways, what's going on, Johnny? What's going on, Marty? What's going on, Tina?
Dude, it's crazy, man. I swear to God, it's the last couple of days, what we're doing on the show aligns with what I've got prepared for the fit tip. And it happened again today. It's about, I'm not going to, but it's,
Johnny.
It falls right in line with what we're talking about. It's like the universe is just lining this shit up. The serendipitous moments are getting thick.
You know what? This is awesome, Johnny. Jimmy, we're going to throw Johnny back and forth here for a quick second. We got Wayne sitting here in the feeds, and Wayne's thinking he's waking up in 1984. He's, holy fuck, there's an old school radio station stuck on YouTube right now. Is this satire? Oh my God, it's satire. Yes, I'm reinvented from 1984. I got somebody with a body stuck in 1982. His name's John Anderson. And we got Marty Fitt here too, and Christina Flynn. So Wayne, yes, this is a satirical morning show created and inspired to help you get your ass out of bed. So if you're laying in bed, Wayne, get up. Just get up. Just get up.
Hold on. What was the 72 part? I missed the 1982 part. What was that?
Oh, I said 1982 called and they wanted their body back.
Oh. Okay.
And I promise you, 1984 ain't having no lesbians on the camera. So.
Oh, yes, because
very good point.
Ellen hadn't arrived yet on the scene.
Ellen hadn't arrived yet. There hadn't been the
Ellen hadn't arrived on the scene yet. Exactly. So we got Jory Jensen joining us here in the protein break. We got Jay Malone coming up as well. We got In the Gym with John and Marty. And guys, we're going to teach you how to build a strong core. Yeah, we always talk about building the strong core, the six packs in the kitchen, but we're going to talk about the exercise and what you need to do to build that strong core so you can be a strong big bull.
The crazy part about core, brother, I just got to jump in real quick. Yeah. If you go back in time a little bit, before we had all these fucking goofy isolating machines, there was no such thing as core, because when you picked up a barbell, it was the only way to lift weights. Your core was working.
Save it, Johnny. Save it, Johnny. Save it.
No, I'm just saying. Of course, we'll talk about it. But it's crazy. It just shows how fucking lazy our society has become. For Christ's sake.
I love it. Jory's going to join us here at Talk Protein Break. We're going to get into the endocrine system. I just wanted to say the word. Yeah, Jory texted me last night. She's like, so hey, what are we talking about today? So, well, here's some list of things. And I'm like, I just want to say the endocrine word, like endocrine. Have you guys know
it's your hormones. That means the hormones, everybody. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and the endocrinologist. There you go. So listen, before you move on from the channel, like it, subscribe to it, tell your friends all about this. Just tell everybody about this great morning show you found. But listen, what does leveling up mean to you? Ask yourself, what does it mean to you? I know what it might mean. It might mean that around the corner is November. Yeah, November means it's no month. And what are you going to say no to, nation, so you can say yes to your biggest goals? That would be the ambition. And I see, Jimmy, why you didn't bring him up on the screen earlier, because I was a little bit mixed up in my little bullet points in front of me here that you're like, hey, Keith, I wasn't supposed to bring him on the screen yet. I'm like, now you're right. I guess it wasn't. But anyways, so let's keep the conversation going here. We got Eric here we got Eric in the comments. We got Sharon in the comments. Good morning, guys. And of course, we got Wayne. And Wayne, I see your comment. I'm crippled. I understand. Doesn't mean we can't get moving. I'm thinking there's ways that we can move, even though we are not able-bodied. So, Wayne, I invite you to get yourself moving. It's only going to make yourself healthier. But hey, listen, today's topic is about leveling up your life. Yeah. Let me tell you, leveling up is not about grand gestures or sudden changes. Nah. I built my entire career on this. Now, waking up at 4 a.m., getting disciplined, making intentional choices. That's how this guy over here in the white hat and the black glasses and the gray jacket, scaled ICUC from a small little startup to a global success story that still exists today. I wake up like, hey, I started that company. They're just over there. So listen, you don't need to be a morning person to be successful. Yes, you do. But you need to be disciplined about your time and intention about your goals. Success is about showing up even on the days when you don't feel like it. Wednesday today, you're laying in bed going, it's hump day. I'm just going to roll over and not do nothing today. No, you got to get up and get moving. So listen, whether it's your business, your health, or your relationships, leveling up is about making and stacking. Johnny talks about habit stacking. Marty talks about putting those habits and just stacking them all the way. It's about stacking those small wins. I'm telling you, you think you can just wing it? Marty, what do you say about winging it, Marty?
If you wing it, you're going to eat chicken wings.
Exactly. So you can't just wing it. You're going to turn into a fucking chicken. Yeah. So you can't just wing it. You think success is going to find you when you eat those chicken wings? No, not at all. Success favors those wins. You got to prepare those who plan. And those who put in the work while nobody's watching. Johnny, you know what that's all about, right? When you put the work in and nobody's watching, what happens?
I'm telling you, when you put in the work and nobody's looking, that's where you make the progress right there.
That's exactly right. Nation, it's about discipline. It's about starting your day, not on your wife's terms. No, not on your kids' terms. Fuck no. Not on your boss's terms. Are you kidding me? Fuck that. It's about starting your day on your terms. Not letting the day dictate how you feel or what you achieve. I don't care if you're a night owl or a morning lark. If you want to win in this world, you have to be in control of your time. It's about leveling up. The people who level up are the ones who do what needs to be done. The ones that plan. Like Marty says, the ones that put that discipline in and stack those habits, even when it's hard. Those folks, they get uncomfortable. They face those challenges head on. But yeah, today we're talking about how to level up in life with Jay Malone. And let me tell you something. No shortcut. Nope. No shortcuts in life. Success loves that preparation, and preparation starts with owning your schedule. So drop a comment below, like the channel, subscribe, and let's dig into the morning loop and kick off for the next couple of minutes here. What's shaking here, team? How's everybody today? Again, what's going on?
Let me add something real quick, brother.
Yeah.
This whole concept of hump day, I think most people connect that to Wednesday. First off, we don't name days. But second off, every day is hump day, because that's what you should be doing with your wife or your husband or whoever it is, because
yes,
every day is hump day. Let's get rid of this. Why should there be one day where you dig down? One day where you dig down and kick ass. You dig down and kick ass every day, and you hump every day. So every day is hump day. Let's get rid of this. This title is every day. And yes, it's every day is kick ass, and every day is hump. There we have it.
Come on, Marty. You knew.
All right, this is what I was expecting from Johnny. All right, we don't name days. Every day is hump day because you got to get over the hump, man. You got to get over the hump.
No, I was a fat
little son of a bitch, and I got over the hump. So you can get over the hump. That's what I thought was going to happen. I'm wrong sometimes.
Hey, speaking of hump, and this is not a segue, but I wanted to throw this on the table before we got to the accountability check-in. I know we don't talk a lot of sports in the show. Part of me thinks we got to start talking a little more sports in the show. But yesterday, history happened in the NBA, and it's pretty fucking cool, man. Very cool to see Bronny and Dad on the court, whether you're a basketball fan or not. Sports is sports, and I just loved watching those highlights of Marty seeing LeBron tell Bronny before he gets on the court what to do. That's just fucking cool, Mike. That's such a cool historical moment. Marty, what were your thoughts on that? And I'm gonna go on the table, Johnny and Tina. Marty.
Oh no, that was amazing, man. That's a father's dream come true.
Yes,
it's probably bigger for LeBron than it is for Bronny. And then it's just crazy how LeBron just keeps setting new milestones that we're probably never going to see this again in the NBA.
I agree with you.
We might, but I doubt it.
So when you say we might, who? Because I don't follow the NBA as much. Who in the sphere is going to have a kid that's going to be? Because listen, we're not going to have a second LeBron. So first of all, you need a second LeBron before you can have a LeBron that can have a kid.
Everyone right now with kids that are like phenoms, they're all retired. So there's no telling right now. It would have to be one of the young guys.
There you go. But
Tina, if everyone keeps living as long as they're living and players keep playing into their 40s, listen, we don't know. But that was so fucking cool to see. And one of the things like we can look at is like LeBron said this years ago. He was like, if my kid comes, I'm still going to be playing and we're going to get on the court together. And that was a goal that he had. And I don't doubt that was a key part of his motivation for doing what he's done in the league over the last decade.
So cool. Mike, I see your comment there. I think I got to address it. Are those Harry Potter sunglasses, bruh? No, they're actually chrome hearts. A little different than the Harry Potter. And then the advice that Mike is throwing on the table here. I'm just thinking, Johnny, Marty, it might be Tina. Is it valid advice? Mike is suggesting that we might want to eating pussy before Sunday brunch should be a must.
Those glasses.
It just might be something, Marty.
Well, see, the good thing about that with this crew is it works for all of us. So I'll give him that.
Well, the question I would ask is why. So the question I'm wondering, Mike, is why do you got to wait till Sunday?
Every day.
That's right.
That should be part of your loop. Every loop.
You should be doing some munching. Listen, you do some munching, you do some humping every day.
We did talk last week. We did find the article in, was it Cosmo or Women's Magazine, that there's this whole idea. We might want to introduce face sitting to the bedroom a little more often. So just back to that Mike's suggestion here, and Wednesdays, whenever you're going to do that. But hey, listen, we were going to talk about how folks can live till 150 during the morning loop, but we got caught up talking about leveling up your life. So ideally and reloaded. Got a little fun article that Tina threw across my desk yesterday from some guy.
Tina.
I think this guy's, I don't know, what is like 145, Tina, but it looks like he's 30 or something?
No, he's 62 and he looks like he's 30. And I don't know, he's doing all the things that a lot of the biohackers are doing, but at a much more affordable price, a much more accessible. It's still really fucking expensive. But the way that
the Asian guy?
No, some white dude.
Just some different dude. Yeah, just some different dude. Pretty cool. But so we're going to come back to that reloaded. We got Jay Malone patiently waiting for us in Jersey in the green room. Yep, he's just hanging out waiting for us. But before we get there, before we bring Jay on stage, let's get to the accountability check-in. And I'm just going to take my Harry Potter glasses off there, Mike, so I can see my camera. Kidding. Listen, you didn't fail. Nope. You leveled up. Yeah. Ending a streak isn't starting from zero. I had to learn that. No, it means you're strong enough to know that when you reset, you come back better. You can begin again. Yeah, we've all been there, crushing it with workouts, projects, goals, streak. Then life happens. Bam! Streak ends. You're like, oh my God, I missed something. I missed the mark. I missed the I. I missed the T. I didn't show up. I showed up, but I thought it didn't show up. Something just got in the way. burnout, distraction, whatever. Listen, I used to think that missing a day meant going back to square one and losing everything. Man, it stressed the out of me. It just killed me. I'm telling you, I had built up to that point that just missing out was just not getting started again. But then I learned from a guy named George Mumford, the guy who helped Michael Jordan stay sharp. And he reminded me, it's okay. It's okay to start over. It's okay to begin again. Give yourself permission, nation, to begin again. If you are going to roll over today and you can't get your day started, I'm not giving you permission to not get your day started. But what I am giving you permission to consider is, if it's not today, you can begin again tomorrow. You've got the experience. I know you have. You've got yourself here. Pause, reflect, and start again. That is how business athletes grow. That's how we level up. What do you need to do? What do you need to let go of today to make that fresh start? Because I invite you to go and do it unapologetically. All right, there's the accountability check. And as we continue on with the show here today, I'm going to ask you, what's one habit you're working on that will help you level up? Whether it's waking up early, staying up late, or sticking to that workout routine, invite yourself around the corners no month. Stop it and say yes to something that you can win at. All right, if you love what we're doing here, hit the subscribe button, share the episode with your friends, comment, do whatever you got to do. But we're pivoting over to the center stage. We got Jay Malone joining us on the show here, and we're going to break down how to level up your life with practical tips from a successful entrepreneur. I think this guy's, I'm telling you, we got a very special guest today. Jay Malone joining us from Jersey. I met Jay in the comments on LinkedIn, and Jay's, there's something going on with the show there. It's like this ESPN thing, but I want to see what's going on. So I'm like, hey, Jay, why don't you come on the show? Jay helps consultants increase profits by turning their services into productized offers. And I was watching the guy go to work. The guy goes to work, shows up every single day. Jay's here to share some of his top strategies for leveling up and transforming the way we think about success. What's going on, Jay Malone?
Mr. Jay, what's up, brother?
What up, man?
How you guys doing? How you guys doing? All right.
Doing all right. All right.
This is not ESPN. I don't know what. This is way beyond ESPN.
So
it's definitely way beyond ESPN for sure.
way over my head here.
So Malone joins us from Jersey. I think his neighbors are you live right in the middle of John Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen, don't you?
Yeah, they're over here, and the Sopranos are down the street. You know, Jersey Shore. Yeah,
and the Palooza Girl and like all those like the Snooki and what is it, 1979 right now or something? But so you just hang out there in Jersey, eh? Yeah.
You know, I am in Freehold, so I'm in Bruce's hometown. So,
okay.
We're basically best friends.
So how's Jersey this morning, Malone?
It's beautiful. It's 80 degrees, sunny. It's been that way the whole time, the whole October. So can't complain.
Nice. Let's get into it. Let's get into center stage and let's get real. So leveling up your life, Jay, is not about literally one big leap. It's about strategically improving and optimizing what you've already done. Now, listen, I know you're big on turning services into productized offers, and you've had great success doing that to create scalable growth. We see a lot of entrepreneurs starting with one thing, but then struggle to scale. Jay, can you share how that concept helps entrepreneurs level up? This idea of turning services into productized offers and creating that scalable growth. How did you start? And take us through that path of how you got there and where you are today.
Yeah. So I started my first service business, a consulting business in 2010. And a lot of consultants and coaches and people that do freelance work, you're trading time for money. And that's a great place to start. You're doing what you're great at doing. But over time, that you reach a ceiling. And so you raise your prices, you try to hire people, and you're just having more and more risk that you're taking on. So that for me caused a ton of burnout. I did that for about a decade or so. And what I decided to do instead is take this service that I offered to my clients, this expertise that I had, and start to package it into offers that they could use themselves. So do-it-yourself versions of the services that I offered. And I made them free. I made them low ticket. And what it did is it started to create this flywheel. People that could get access to my tools, my frameworks, my resources, they'd use them. They'd see that I had expertise in it. And then some of them would raise their hand to ask me to come in and do the high ticket work that I did. And so what it allowed me to do is step back from all the marketing and selling and hustling that I was doing for a decade and rely on the products that I had created to turn that flywheel. So I basically built this automated way to fill my funnel with ideal clients. And the financial success was great, but the mental and emotional lift that it gave me to spend more time with my family, to spend time on saying yes to better clients. So now when I think of building businesses, I always think of what can you take from the work that you're doing today and put it out into the world so that people get access to your expertise.
This is magic, because I want to do a little role play with you. Let's talk to Marty and John. So John, Marty, both have independent clients and both building their independent businesses and so forth. They might say, Jay, that productizing a service, productizing something that they're doing is limiting, that it removes the personalization that their clients value. Now, what I love about what you said is that I'm going to paraphrase that I created this service, but in order for me to scale it and enjoy my family, I had to find a way to scale it. Now, how do you take something that from the outside doesn't look like it's a scalable product and turn it into a scalable solution so that you can improve the quality of your life and sit back and have these digital products being sold and having these services personalized when on the face of it, it doesn't look like it's a personalized service? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, it does. A lot of coaches struggle with that. They say, I'm not going to put anything between me and my clients. We have a relationship. I work with coaches that do trauma therapy for executives going back into childhood. So there's no way they're going to put a course or an ebook or a piece of content between them and their clients. But then when those coaches are charging $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour, and they have someone at the really early stage of their journey, they can't afford them. They don't know if they're ready to work with that person. They don't feel like they're not yet sure if that's their guy or their girl. You offer them a small piece of what you would help them with. Let them help themselves through that stage of the journey for at a much more affordable price. And when they're ready, when they have the budget, when they have the means, when they have the access, you're going to be the person that they come to for help, because you help them in a time of need without needing to spend tens of thousands of dollars, or if time zones are an issue, getting access to you. So those products serve as a lower lift for them. It's a much easier thing for them to buy and get access to.
John, Marty, when you hear Jay talking what do you say to that, Johnny?
I use this model. This is my model. I have all sorts of free resources. When people come in, if I don't know that they're a good fit, I'm going to say, hey, I've got all this free shit and you can go access it and you can use it and you're going to find that it works. And so if you want to come back for something that's going to be really customized to you and what you want, that's basically, I'm here. And ultimately I actually have a place called John Anderson's Free University, and they go in there and all it is an email. All they got to do is register. And it's all content you're not going to find on my social media. And you can find some of it on YouTube, but it's all long form content. My ebooks are in there. And so someone can go in there and make a ton of progress, which they do. And people that don't have enough to pay for anything, it's a huge resource for them. And then I've had people that have done this and come back like a year or two later. Hey, I got this massive promotion and I have the money to work with you now. I'm ready. And at that point, I know that they've experienced what I do, who I am, how I do it. And it's a filter is what it is. But what I love about it is that I get to help everybody.
Yes. Yeah. Marty, what do you take from what Jay had offered up and even some John's comments? I know you have a lot of virtual training clients and so forth. What's your point of view on this, Marty?
Yeah, I use a similar model. I have like different packages I offer. And as far as the free stuff, I don't have a free university like John, but I use my content for that. And I have the same approach as Konetsky that we had on yesterday. I'm hopping in the DMs. I'm trying to respond to people and just be there. And if they decide they want to pay for my service, I'm available for them. What Jay was talking about, and I use some of what like Konetsky was talking about yesterday. So I'm right there with you.
Jay, yeah, and Marty, like the thing is, you get to evaluate that by the time the person comes to you, that they're right, that they're serious, they're committed to work with you. And so that it cuts out all that noise, because I can't tell you how many times I was selling to Ford, Home Depot, MailChimp, Google, Amazon, 18-month cycles, when half the time I'm talking to the wrong person. They don't have budget. They're not ready to hire me. They're just kicking the tires. As a small entrepreneur, like a small business entrepreneur, I don't have time. I don't have months to send you proposals and pitch and prospect over and over again so that you might buy or not buy 2 years later.
I'm with you. I agree.
Jay, I'm a big fan of the moment behind the moment. And just a quick question before we move into the C Marty Fit Tip. Jay, take me to the moment in your world when the light went on. And what I mean by that is that you're struggling, you're selling your services independently, and then you're like, were you on the couch with your kids, or you're having a cup of coffee, you're like, fuck, I'm going to try this. Because entrepreneurs, I just find we have these aha moments. So something happened for you to say, I'm going to try something, I'm suspecting, and then it worked. And then as an entrepreneur, you leaned into that, and then you did more of it. Take our listeners through that experience, because that to me is, those aha moments, we all have them. How did it happen for you, Jay Malone?
I'm a little slow as an entrepreneur because it took me a couple of years of those small moments of just building. So what we were doing is we would train a bunch of people on the frameworks that we used in our work. Yeah. And we would get the question, can we get access to the slides, to the templates, to the worksheets, to the guides that you created? We kept saying, no, that's not included. That's not included. And then one day the light bulb moment went off. I was like, I've been saying no to hundreds and thousands of customers that want access to this thing. And I always told myself I need to be in the room to deliver it because I'm special. I'm like the secret ingredient.
Yes.
But yes. And they still want access to the stuff. So I started giving it to them and they started buying it. And what they bought became this perpetuous flywheel. And I just had to take myself out of the equation, turn my ego down for a minute to realize that if I gave them access to what they were looking for, it would just create more and more desire for the stuff that I had.
That's really cool. We're going to continue the chat with Jay Malone coming up in a couple of minutes after the C Marty Fit Tip. We're talking about leveling up your life. Entrepreneurs, if you're tuning in right now and you're wondering how to level up your life and take that next step, today's the show. Today's the show you want to be on. So listen, here's the big takeaway from our center stage segment. Leveling up is about creating systems, guys. Systems that allow you to scale without losing quality. When I'm working with Tina, when the show's off, where we're building the show, we're building parts of the business athlete performance, I'm always challenging Tina and the team of think about creating something that we're not here. Think about creating something if you're not around. That is when you really want to think past productizing. So whether you're productizing your services or optimizing your schedule, it's about working smarter, not just harder. And remember, no month's around the corner. So subscribe to the channel, like the channel, comment on the channel, and hang out in the month of November to help you hit those big goals that you want to achieve that you're going to say yes to by hanging out with us for the month of November. All right, now it's time for a quick fitness tip from Marty. I know he's got something for you guys to think about today. Get you go through your day. Marty
always, man. Brother? Come on, man. We about to find out.
Come on, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're going to talk about eccentric training today. So basically, where you slow down during the stretch phase of your exercise. Let's talk about it. Why do you do this? You create more muscle tension. You create more micro tears, and this is going to lead to bigger gains when it's time for your muscles to repair themselves, all right? Slow down during the lowering phase of the exercise. So think about a squat or a bench press. When you lower down, making it slower. And I always tell my clients, let that motherfucker burn a little bit. So you can imagine that with that terminology, all right? Focus on controlling the movement. Feel the stretch in your muscles if you want the scientific version of what let that motherfucker burn means, all right? So think about deep lunges, right? Romanian deadlifts, other flexibility-focused movements to boost your range of motion. All right, you can pretty much do this with any compound lift. It's going to change the lift. It's going to make it more intense, and you'll probably be more sore because your body won't be used to doing this, all right? This method is going to maximize the stress and your recovery, all right, helping you build the muscle almost twice as fast. So this is a good method to try if you hit a plateau or you see yourself not getting the gains that you want to see, all right? Different exercises and nutrition plans lead to different results. So changing this is going to give you more results for sure. All right. Shocking your body. That's something me and Johnny talk about. Putting your body through something new is going to help you get to those new results, get to those new gains. So if you want to level up physically, eccentric focused training is going to be your new best friend. All right. Slow down the exercise, focus on that muscle, and let's keep working. That's the fitness tip for today.
Uncle Keith's got to clear his throat here. Coming back here, morning's a lot. Right?
You sure?
It was like in between one of those moments there, Marty. And listen, I noticed you said something about doing lunges. And Johnny, we were talking yesterday, Marty, about
here we go.
Creating deep cheeks, Marty. So I'm thinking that if you're doing those lunges, and if you do those lunges properly, Johnny, you're creating those deep cheeks, right?
And I'll tell you, there's a lot of benefits to the deep cheeks. It's not just saving your underwear.
Hey, not to get too personal, But I did some hip thrusts yesterday, and my DM was flooded yesterday. That's all I'm going to say, John.
Oh,
there we go, baby. There we go.
That's all I'm going to say, man.
Deep cheeks with C. Marty Fit here on Wednesday.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
At some point, I'm going to have to teach you guys how you actually measure the depth of the cheeks, but we'll do that on a different episode.
Oh, yeah. So coming up on our future episode, we're going to invite Jay Malone back for this one. We're going to take out the tape measure and measure the deep cheeks of John Anderson.
I don't know about that one.
There you go.
No, there's no foreign objects traveling up in the cheeks.
That's you got to be 50 and up for that. I'm not there yet. Y'all do y'all thing.
We're giving Marty the path to 50. All right, let's get into the big topic today, the deep dive with our guest Jay Malone from Jersey, neighbors to Springsteen, neighbors to the whole gang there, Bon Jovi and the gang. We're talking about leveling up your life, actionable steps for success. And I want to get into this segment, guys, John, Marty, Jay, for guys that are listening right now, let's talk about giving them specific actions that they can take to elevate their career, personal growth, overall success. Jay, let's start with you, brother. So you work with entrepreneurs looking to scale up and transform business. What are some essential steps that somebody can start taking, not tomorrow, Jay, not next week in the month of November, like today? Like, what's one thing that you would just offer as a low-hanging piece of fruit? Just some guy laying in his bed or sitting at his desk. He's out for a walk. He's listening right now, and he's thinking, fuck, do I do this? I just need a little edge. I need something. Jay, can you give something to somebody right now?
There's, like you've been saying, Keith, there's no quick wins. And what I've been focusing on for the last couple of years now as I built my new business profit ladder is just trying to be in the right channels at the right time and spending time with the right people, not the wrong time, not the wrong folks. They're like, I meet folks like you from doing the work of showing up in the comments and finding people that are already putting in great content. For the average entrepreneur that's building, especially a service-based business, I think when you're ready to get started, just focus on doing the work that you're really good at. The productization piece can come later. Just find the right clients that are going to buy from you, that are going to promote the work that you're doing, that are going to tell their friends about it. Referrals are a great place to start. When you have something that clicks, the thing that I used to get stuck on is I would start to chase a million different directions that I could go after. For me, when I found a framework and a thing that I was really good at, and I saw the interest, I saw the demand from the market, and I realized that I was one of few that could do that thing really well, then I realized that I could create more access for it by just chunking it down. So just taking pieces of the work that you're already doing day in and day out and just taking it out and just giving it away to people. I think where I would get stuck is I would hold back on the value of that free thing. So like John's free university, right? Like he took the stuff that he's already good at, and instead of charging a fee and making it hard to access and putting a lot of friction between him and the work that he already does, he actually gave it all away for free. And so that's where I would get tripped up. I would hold back. I would say, if this thing is free, if I charge 30 grand to do a thing that I do for 6 months, and I'm going to give part of it away, I'm going to charge like a high fee, or I'm going to make the value of it receded a little bit. And the more I gave it away, the better I made the product, the more it turned that flywheel for me. And I think that's a limiting belief that I think a lot of entrepreneurs have. Is like, hold back your best stuff.
This is fascinating to me because you and John and Marty, you guys have all dropped this F word number of times in the last 8 or 9 minutes, and the F word being free. We've been taught so much as business folks to avoid the word, focus on quality, value, quality. Yet all three of you have really jumped on this idea that there's a lot of value in quote unquote free. And it's become freeing for you guys in order to scale your businesses by adopting that mindset. I don't know if enough entrepreneurs maybe lean into this F word not being bad. Johnny.
Yeah, here's the thing. What I think what people tend to not understand is that you can basically, quote, give away your secrets. They're coming to you for the application. You can tell them exactly what to do. Doesn't mean they're going to do it. The very few are going to do it, but those aren't your customers anyway. Those aren't the people you're going to help. Those people don't need help. The people that need help are the ones that they've got the directions, they've got the recipe, but they just don't have whatever it is inside of them to execute it to get the type of progress they're looking for. So just remember, they're coming to you for the application, you know, and that's really that you're going to lose very few people by giving away your secrets. The majority of your customers are coming to you or to your course to help you or your course help them execute the process.
Jay, I see you nodding there.
Yeah. There's this stigma, I think, with courses in general, and people say they don't work. There's a lot of snake oil, there's a lot of bullshit out there. But what John is talking about is that most people will look at their own ability to take the material that John gave them in the free university, and they realize that they're not doing anything with it. So they assume that the course is garbage, or they say it's not worth it. But those are the people that probably need John's help. So John takes his stuff, he puts it into a course, and he tells you, you're going to get stuck here and here. That's where I can help you. But these are the pieces you can do on your own. And so that's why I love to give away a lot of the free and low ticket stuff, because a lot of people are going to kick the tires forever and never be the right customer to hire you.
Well, Marty, it's very similar in the fitness space, right? Because you can give somebody every program in the world. Yeah, here's free. And AJ and I laugh about it all the time. If they can't execute on what they give and what you give them, no success. It's the same thing, isn't it, Marty?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And sometimes people need the personalized coaching. Like they need something for their life specifically. Like I need you to tell me what to do with this situation and how to fix this situation. So I think that's another thing where if they get a taste of that with the free content or the free information you're putting out, that can get them to want to get buy your coaching as well.
Yeah. Well, Marty, correct me if I'm wrong here, brother, but you literally live in the world of you could give your clients what they're supposed to do, literally, but they're coming to you because they want you by their side to help them execute. So you live 100% in the world of application, correct?
No, absolutely. You can tell somebody to increase their protein and drink more water as much as you want to. That don't mean they're going to do it. So
exactly.
Definitely.
So Jay, how do you move somebody down that path? Again, talking practical strategies for our entrepreneurs listening today. We've just spent the last number of minutes encouraging our audience to lean into the idea of free. Lean into it, observe it, encourage your audience to accept it. But then somewhere in that journey, the entrepreneur's like, yeah, but Jay, I got to make some money. So at what point did you go, okay, this is now enough free for Marty and John. I'm now got to charge them. Talk about that pivot point, Jay Malone.
Yeah. So there's this in-between thing that I think is really helpful for people. So sticking with in the fitness world, like what I've done in hiring fitness coaches a number of times is they offered an introductory pack. We're going to do an audit. We're going to get all your fitness goals together. We're going to build a plan for you. A lot of those things were free, but they were all customized for me. There was a lot of focus on me. And what I wasn't signing up for was a 1-year fitness transformation program, because that felt risky. I don't know if John or Marty are the guys that I want to work with. I don't know if I can train with them, if they're local to me. Maybe they're too expensive. Maybe their diet regimen is going to be something that I just don't like. But they're going to spend a week with me getting familiar, giving me some tips, building a plan for me. Those introductory packages are like a great middle ground. And then from those things, once you have that package, chances are maybe John or Marty built a small diet plan. Those things, they start to pull out from that small package service that they offer, and they become free assets that people can look at so that they can decide if they want to go through that small package. So you're basically meeting the customer. All of your different customers are at a different point in their journey, whether it's fitness or whatever you sell. And you start to take the stuff that you're doing and you chuck it down. So you have a thing for them no matter where they are, price-wise, at the stage that they're at in their career, and you can meet them where they are. So it's like you're working backward, but you should definitely start by selling the stuff that you do so that you're not putting yourself in a place of scarcity where the only thing that you have to offer people is free stuff.
There you go. Marty, Johnny, some closing comments from you guys before we keep the show going?
I actually go ahead, John.
I was just going to say that I think 100% I agree with them we're talking about, but I think that the element that I like about the free is it just allows us to help everyone, because there are going to be people who are never going to be able to afford our services. And I really enjoy the concept that, hey, it doesn't matter if you can't afford me. I still got something for you.
Marty.
I don't want to get off topic, but I wanted Jay to touch on, because I feel like this is practical for people watching.
Yeah.
What did the burnout look like for you? Like, when did what happened to make you recognize, hey, I'm burnt out. This needs to change.
Good question.
10 years of hustling, of chasing clients that didn't want to buy from me, of selling the wrong services, of not having that feedback loop, and just feeling like I was on that hamster wheel. And the more I could, like building off what John said, the more that I could create free and low ticket, it gave me more of that feedback. It helped me pivot my offers. It helped me price them right. It helped me find ultimately the right people to sell to. And that removed a lot of the burnout, removed a lot of the stress of hustling and chasing the wrong folks.
It's like a filtering system.
Yeah.
What's coincidental about that question, Marty, is that your question relates to a post that I saw Jay make, which encouraged me to knock on Jay's door and say, hey, you want to have a conversation about life and about business, and you want to come on the show? So it's funny, Marty, you and I haven't even talked this, Marty, but it was that post that Jay made that something struck me with what he said, because the guy's gone to work. The guy's put all the time in the work, and that aha moment, which was like, because Jay, your post was something along the lines of, I'm going to exaggerate it, but it's like, the hook was, I'm sleeping at night or I'm making $1 gazillion a day. But then the rest of the post was, yeah, but it took me 10 years to get here. And it's that whole farce that everybody hooks. Oh, yeah, I'm making $1 million a day. Yeah, but you worked 30 years to do it. Jay, quickly talk about that for a quick second.
Yeah, the overnight success story. Yeah. There's not enough headlines about the real work behind it.
Yes.
Whether it's the person telling the story or the media outlet behind them telling it.
Yes.
And I want to over-index on the people that do the work and suffer, like the build in public. For me, I love those stories. I tried this thing and it failed, but here's what I learned from it. And here's I'm finding a bunch of shows to go and talk on. So I tried a whole bunch of stuff that didn't work, and I want to give away that stuff, because what's the point of having other people suffer through that process? They're only going to cheer for you if you show them all your faults and all the stuff that you screwed up on. And then on top of it, if you help them out, you've got champions. You got people that are going to support you for life because you helped them for a very similar problem they were going through.
Excellent. Hey, Jay Malone joining us here from Jersey. Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends. Our center stage deep dive segment's wrapping up here. Jay, where can Business Athlete Nation find you? How can they get a hold of you and connect with you to learn more about what you offer? Jay Malone.
Besides at a John Bon Jovi concert, you can find me at profitladder.net.
Profitladder.net is where you're going to find Jay Malone. Jay, come back and hang out with us again sometime.
Have me back, please. Love it. Keep going, guys. I love what you're doing.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, Jay Malone here, coming to us all the way from Jersey, the neighbor to Springsteen and Snooki and all the gang there in Jersey. But hey, coming up now, we got this sound effect. Anderson, he teases.
Come on, man.
No, he's got a lifestyle.
Come on, man.
And then we're coming back to talk endocrinology. I just wanted to say that. Johnny, you're up, buddy.
All right, here we go. This whole show is about leveling up. Check this out. Forget about motivation. What you need is discipline, and here's how it works. When you get this straight, it's going to change everything. Discipline is doing the shit that you don't want to do, even when doing the shit you need to do, even when you don't want to. And when you do this, next thing you know, you're going to develop habits that are going to make this stuff happen almost automatically. And now when you're doing the stuff that's difficult by habit, almost automatic, you're making success, you're feeling good, and you are motivated to get more. So don't think that you could put motivation at the front end of the formula and it's going to work. Motivation it's slippery. Sometimes you got it, sometimes you don't. If you find yourself going to watch a video to get motivated, you got this reversed. What you need is discipline, because once you learn to do the things you don't want to do, even when you, Jesus Christ, discipline is doing the things that you need to do, even when you don't want to do it. For me personally, once I got this figured out, everything changed. I realized how important discipline was. I put that first, let the motivation fall into place because I was disciplined, and I never looked back. My life has changed for good. And I promise you, if I can do it, you can too. Rock and roll.
With John Anderson working his way through the content this morning. Going to cut that one up pretty good there, Johnny, later. It's going to be good. All right, we got coming up here. We got Jory Jensen. Here we go. There we go. The GOAT
is back. We got her again this week.
Oh, yeah. We got her all time.
Oh, man. This Monday is the best show ever.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Jory Jensen, our resident nutritionist, food expert, dietitian, joining us here. And today we're going to talk about, Jory, when we were texting this week about the endocrine system, I just want to say the word again, endocrinology, right? So we're going to tackle something that doesn't always get the attention, Jory, that it deserves. And we're going to talk today about how the food you eat directly affects your hormones. And I'm not just talking about any hormones. We're talking about the ones that drive performance, recovery, and how your body changes over time. We've talked a little bit this week about insulin. Johnny's talks about that quite often, but let's talk today about testosterone, cortisol, insulin, and all those effects on our endocrine system in our body. Jory Jensen.
Yeah. So I think first we have to make this big fancy word endocrine system just seem a little more normal.
Yeah.
And so the endocrine system is really like this network of glands, and they create and release hormones directly into the bloodstream. If you think of, I'm trying to think of what John might say, but John, you'll jump in after.
He'll jump in.
But for me, I'm going to think of, because if you went to a concert or to watch a symphony, whatever type of music you like, if you think of the conductor as the endocrine system, and each person playing an instrument is one of the hormones. And when you're fueling or not fueling your body in a way that's going to support what the conductor is trying to do for you, then things can speed up really fast and beats are missed, and the body's just not functioning the way it should be. So that's like the endocrine system is, or the coach to the athlete in setting up the program. And so we want to just make it less scary, but it's still great science. And so there are key things that impact the endocrine system. And the endocrine system does include tons of hormones. But if we look at things like cortisol or the thyroid gland, if we're looking at testosterone, ovaries, all of those things, those are all part of the endocrine system or part of the band or part of the team. And strategies have a huge role in terms of how everything works.
I love this. I love your analogy of the band. Johnny, comment on this.
No, that's beautiful because it's so complex. When it comes down to it, I try to almost single out the parts that most people are, because most people, when you say endocrine system, they think, oh, that's my testosterone and my estrogen, which they're correct, but it's just a small piece of it.
Yes.
And for males, obviously, when we talk about endocrine system, they first go, oh, my testosterone. Yeah, correct. And if your testosterone is low, then you basically taken the whole system and thrown it off balance. And the more of these different hormones that are not where they're supposed to be, it's like a ship that starts sailing like this. And so I guess to put it simple, when most people think of endocrine system, they think about testosterone, but I guess we're here to remind you there's a lot more to it. Now, we have all these clinics that are all about testosterone and estrogen, and it's very important that you manage, especially as a man, that you learn to manage and make sure that your testosterone is in that range where it should be, because that one being off is going to have a ripple effect on a lot of other stuff. It's really good for us to have this conversation, because for those that don't understand how complex it is, that it's more than just your testosterone. That's what this conversation is about.
Because, of course, it relates to cortisol, insulin, and testosterone. So those three that obviously, the big ones we're going to talk about. But, Jory, we don't often talk enough, I don't believe anyways, enough about the foods that we could eat that could affect our testosterone, our cortisol, our insulin levels. Let's take a few moments to really lean into foods that help enhance our endocrine system.
Yeah. So if we look globally, like something in sport, it's called REDS, or relative energy deficiency in sport. So overall, globally, REDS, or just not getting the calories in when you need it, can shift hormone balance. So that's like very global, and that can impact something like testosterone, cortisol levels. And then it's the types of foods that we consume. So if we look back at the orchestra, if everyone is starting to create their own sort of beat and they lose and everything's out of whack, and they're going super fast. Some are just like they've lost everything. That's in a way when we're stressed out and we haven't had stress management tools and we're exhausted. So we're fueling with tons of caffeine and tons of sugar, processed foods. Yeah. Like our blood sugar is skipping a beat and we're not in line. And that can have a huge impact on all of our hormones and how they work, because they are an orchestra. They work synergistically together. It's not only testosterone's working right now, only cortisol's working right now. They are hugely integrated. They're a team. So things that can help balance out hormones, even your hunger cues like ghrelin and leptin, your hunger and satiety hormones, those are impacted by everything else as well. So if we don't have those high fiber foods, that will impact those hormones for hunger cues. If we're not getting enough sleep, that'll impact those. So there's so much going on. And foods, things like I'm drawing a blank here, high protein foods, oysters, those sort of things, high zinc containing foods, those will have a huge place in terms of how testosterone levels will work as well.
Are there specific foods, Johnny? So Johnny, go ahead, Johnny, please.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that the one thing that people tend to not understand is a killer. We were designed to have like little bursts of cortisol, which is healthy. We're not designed to have this fucking IV drip all day long of cortisol, which is what we get when we live in anxiety. And for that guy that does everything right and goes to the clinic and everything's testing and he's got everything in terms of the supplementation of testosterone and whatever else he might need, but he can't control his negative thoughts and he's just getting punished with cortisol, it really unwinds the whole thing. So it's granted there are foods that can help, which I love that we're talking about that. But I think what we also have to realize in today's society, if someone doesn't understand how to manage the negativity in their heads, because as we talked about, most of the shit that we stress out about never even happens. It doesn't come to reality. It lives in our fucking minds only. And if you can't get a hold of that stuff and you're dealing with the straight up IV drip of cortisol across the day, every day, it's going to wreak havoc on everything else that you're doing when you're doing it. So it's just, there's so many different ways to look at this and so many different things that you've got to do to really manage this properly.
Interesting. So it's, we talk, we balance this segment every week with Mind Fuel and Protein Break, because we talk about the importance of both mind and food. And what Johnny is saying right now is that cortisol will take absolute hold of you if you don't grab control of it mentally. What we're also talking about with Jory right now is the foods that we might want to consider choosing throughout our day to help us alleviate cortisol or help us be stronger and fit. And that becomes the challenge, isn't it, Johnny? Because mentally a guy's, okay, I got to go eat this. I don't feel good about myself. You're literally battling, aren't you?
And that's why I say the average man or most people will train the body. The elite train the body and the mind. Yeah. And training the mind is about keeping it in the right space so we're not dumping cortisol into the system on that constant basis. Of course, life happens. Boom, we get some cortisol dropped in our lap. That's the way it's supposed to be. But when it's over, turn it off, move on, and manage that. There's just so many elements here in terms of there's eating right, getting your exercise, training your mind to recognize what you need to actually keep in focus and not. And all of this plays into the endocrine system. So I guess what I'm saying is when someone does all the stuff that they need to do, eating like George's talking about, making sure that they're testing their levels, but they forget about this, they're really leaving some massive progress on the table.
This is awesome because it just shows the importance of Jory joining the show, talking about the food. It just shows the importance of AJ dropping into the show and talking about, okay, Jory's told you what to eat, but if you can't figure it out up here, you're not going to have the success. Right? So I love how it all comes together. But Jory, as we wrap up the segment, what's one major takeaway? Let me ask you this, Jory, and trying to simplify without making it complex. Do we spend enough time talking about the endocrine system with our doctors or with ourselves, or do we just tend to put it aside? And should we, I don't like the word should, but would we invite our audience to consider thinking more about what John said and what you said so that they can have the success that they desire and frankly level up?
Yeah, I think in our healthcare system, you always have to fight for yourself and you have to know what you're fighting for to begin with. So I think that conversations need to happen. Otherwise, you don't know what you don't know and you don't know how to advocate for yourself. So I think that's definitely important. Regular checkups, chatting with people that actually know what they're talking about is really important. But then bringing it back down to things that are manageable is also really key. So instead of going into like obsessive behavior around what I can eat, what I can't eat, look at it as what can you choose today in terms of fueling your body the best that you can. right? Not everyone can afford to eat organic all the time. Sometimes it's on sale. Great, go for it. So what can you do the best of your ability? Can you limit plastics, which disrupts hormones? So storing your food in glass containers, not plastics that can secrete hormone disruptors. Are you getting the proper sleep? One of the big things,
yes, massive.
Tracking your food for calories and macros. Why don't you track your intake? You can use the same food trackers, but use ones that look at what's your vitamin D intake, what's your omega-3 intake, what's your fiber intake, what's your fluid intake. Take a look at those things and manage those. And I think that's going to create a lot of change in terms of your mental well-being around food. It'll change things around how your body is able to process and metabolize nutrients so it can get into the cells and be used properly. So yes, it's complex and complicated. Do not get me wrong, because I'm not a specialist in this area. However, I will say that we can simplify it enough that the average Joe, the average Jory, can absolutely start taking steps and advocate for just being a little bit better.
Yeah, the power of simplicity. And I love something you said there, Jory, I know Johnny uses the tablet and the scale and he writes things down with his rock and everything, but there's such power in creating awareness, isn't there? Whether you're using an app, a piece of paper, or a rock, but just the idea of creating awareness, Jory, and writing down what you're eating. You don't have to do it forever, nation. Take a week, 2 weeks, just start writing things down and create awareness and go, oh, okay, I get it. Jory, before you rock and roll here, we got a couple quick comments coming in here. We got Mike Quillen here. Hormones are the difference between what should happen and what does happen in the body. I like that. That's great. We got Yuel coming in as well with stress hormones are designed to trigger your body to break things doing. And Carrie saying, I take lithium orotate to control negative thoughts. I admit, don't know much about lithium. And hey, listen, nation, we're not here to offer advice. We're talking comments and stuff from folks in the comments here. And then we have you all talking about managing hormones and managing stress. So clearly we've tipped a nerve here, Jory, with this topic. It affects all of us, right? Cortisol and stress and testosterone and everything. And we certainly want to come back and have this conversation again. Jory, thanks for hanging out with us today.
For sure. Thanks for having me. Nice to see you guys.
Thank you, Jory.
Thank you, Jory.
Thank you.
Jory Jensen, the Protein Break, our resident specialist, talking always good stuff, talking leveling up tips from successful entrepreneur. But today we're talking about leveling up and how to manage your endocrine system. But hey, right now we have somebody coming up on the show, and I'm looking for that button that sounds just like.
Do it, or I'll just keep doing it. I'll just keep vibing on my own.
She's doing it before the button.
That one there. All right, we got the Coach Flynn coming up.
Let's go, Coach.
Let's get it done, Coach. The personal brand.
Oh, friends. Let's get set up here. Okay. There's no one way to do it. So you just need to do it your way. Saturday morning, it was chaos in my house. My wife was trying to get her workout in. My toddler was screaming his face off, and my wife's running late. In the middle of it, I found myself yelling, babe, just fucking go. I know it sounds dramatic, and to be honest, it felt dramatic, but we're just two moms. We're trying to get a workout in amidst the chaos of life with two kids under 5. And you know what? It's not perfect, but it's our way. We have all heard the expert advice. Get up at 5 a.m., put your clothes out the night before, work out before the kids get up. And honestly, that advice might work for a lot of people. It's really great advice. But here's what I want you to hear. It's okay if it doesn't work for you in this moment. It's okay if it's not your benchmark in this moment. Your life, your stage, your priorities might be different, and that's 100% okay. What matters is that you find a way to get it done your way. Forget trying to fit into somebody else's routine, somebody else's system. Don't focus on perfection and doing things by the book. And there's no one way to build your brand, hit your goals, and get your workout in. The real win is finding a way that works for you, even when it feels chaotic. And when that chaos clears, just like I do with my wifey, give yourself, your partner, your pet a high five and say, proud of you, because you're getting it done your way, and that's what really counts. Yes, it is really that simple. I have entered my no fucks era, and I promise you, if you give today's brand bite a shot, you will be one step closer to entering yours. You got this.
You absolutely got this. And as we approach No Month, consider what routines, expectations, or even expert advice that you're following that no longer serve you, that no longer offer you any value. Let's just say no to trying to fit into someone else's mold. As Tina said, yeah, you guys all get up at 5 o'clock. Good for you. We got a routine that works best for us. So say yes to doing things your way, embracing your own chaos, and owning your full journey. That's what you do here in the lab. All right. Woo-hoo-hoo. What a good show today. A lot of fun, guys.
Yeah.
We're talking leveling up your life from tips to successful entrepreneur. Jay Malone joined us. Good morning, Real Deal. I see you there. I see a good time. I see you, Mike McQuillan. I see you, Carrie. It's Romper Room here in Canada. Just calling everybody out here on the show here. You know,
nobody gets that but me.
I know.
Literally, nobody gets
That's
it. But
Tina,
you know what?
He does that sometimes, Tina.
Yeah.
He'll do an inside joke that nobody knows.
That nobody else knows.
I was used to that because when I first came on, these two were making all sorts of jokes that was long before I showed up, and I was like, all right, I guess I just need to let them have their fun. And then, but see, then one day Keith said to Marty, play with me. And I thought, well, I can be a side of their inside jokes. I don't want to be a part of that. And then I realized it was okay. I don't know these jokes.
Hey, McQuillan knows. I got it. The match exactly, Mike. See, Mike knows.
Yeah, Mike.
That alone is going to get Mike a return visit on this show. Mike, you're coming back, brother, so we can talk Romper Room, and we can teach Mike and Marty about Romper Room. Johnny's
got to get some headphones.
Yeah,
when Mike came on, he had some difficulties, so we didn't get all of him. So we need him back anyway.
We do need him back.
I think so. Yeah. So Marty, Johnny's thinking Romper Room. I know what he's thinking. He's not thinking.
That's hump.
Not at all
hump,
what you're
baby.
thinking, Johnny. I promise.
Mike, the microphone works this time. Oh yeah. So a month's gone by.
We'll see about that. That. That'll be for us to decide.
Oh my God. And then I got a comment here from Yuval saying, use the art of movement. Whatever, Johnny, movement, buddy. Whatever your movement is, whatever you're doing becomes what you need to do. Systems of efficiency of time. All right. So listen, we've been talking about leveling up your life this morning on the show. And I have a topic to throw on the stage here for the next 8 or 9 minutes. And it was thrown my way by our friend, the coach. And I'm going to pull it up on stage here. Jimmy, I'm sorry, I didn't give this to you. Jimmy, there's a link.
Where is it? I'll give it to
There's a link, Jimmy. So, Christina, if you can give Jimmy the link for the horizontal feed for our horizontal fans, we can get that rolling over there. But I got a link from X that I'm going to throw on the screen here that was discovered by our friend Tina. And it is about a guy named Dave Pascoe. Marty, Johnny, can you guys see that? Johnny, get your eyes okay there? Yeah?
Yeah, I can. It's small, but I see it.
So
don't expect me to read the text, but I can see the picture.
So guys,
Dave, his glass eye.
Yeah, Dave Pascoe is 62. And Nation, if you're just listening to this, I invite you to go and tune into the YouTube channel or go back later if you're listening to this post show. But there's an image here of a fellow named Dave Pascoe. He's 62 years old. Yet he has the DNA of a 38-year-old man. He's aging slower than extreme biohacker Brian Johnson. Now, Dave spends 98.5% less money doing so. And for the next number of minutes, I'm going to share with you guys his simple and effective ways that he's extending his life. Now, I'm not offering advice to anybody. I'm not offering any scientific recommendations. I'm clearly taking a few moments to share with all of you what Dave's routine was to essentially try to live longer. But John, Marty, Coach, what I really enjoyed was when I got to the end of the article, what mattered most. And John, Marty, you guys are going to fucking love the end of it all, because I'm going to talk about all these complex things that he's doing and all this stuff that he's up to make himself live longer, these potions, these supplements, all these foods, and all these things that Marty, you subscribe to the clients, and Johnny, you subscribe to your clients. But there's a magic, there's one word and one piece of magic that he offers up in his advice that every human being struggles with. We're going to get to that. So let's talk about it though. Johnny, you're going to love this. So when Pascoe wakes up in the morning, he does 5 minutes on the mini trampoline.
That's, you know what that's, I'm telling you, the bouncing, I'm having a brain fart all of a sudden now what it is, but it's basically a system in your body, and think of it as a series of, it's like a hose, but it's only one way. It's only got one way valve. So when you bounce, God, what is it? I can't remember, but all the fluid basically moves through the system, and the bouncing is what does that. Your lymph system, that's what it is. Your lymph system benefits massively from bouncing.
So if anybody's ever doubted that Johnny knows what the hell he's talking about, not that you would, not that he hasn't been one of the world's strongest men, not that he hasn't gone on stage and competed as a world champion in the IFBB, and not that he hasn't wrestled in North Korea and spent some time in, no, not at all. So we're not going to judge anything of Johnny's knowledge. But then the second thing that Pascoe does is he gets on the floor and he does stretches like Superman, Johnny. The Superman, like you talked about yesterday, Johnny.
We just talked about. Come on, man. Come on.
And then he does a 5-minute inversion table stretch. So again, very much like the Superman, right? So he's all about that. And then Johnny and Marty, I'm looking at you, brother. He does 15 minutes of foam roller for deep massage. And Marty, because I know you're a big fan of the foam roller. So right off, man. Right off the bat, Pascoe's doing things that we're talking about on the show every single day. Although I will admit that I didn't see anything in here about mastering a domain or making your wife live longer. So we got to find something about that whole situation.
Yeah, he's not keeping it 100% truthful, man.
No,
he's not keeping it 100%.
A dude that looks like that, he's taking care of business. Come on now.
Yeah, I know. 100%. 100%. And then, of course, we got my lovely Lauren coming in saying rebounding. Yes, Lauren, that's what Johnny does every single day. Jumps and does his rebounding. Okay, so then later in the morning, Pascoe.
Real quick on that level, for those of you that say I don't have a rebounder, it's not an excuse. I'm at my house in Mexico right now. I don't have one here either. I just literally bounce. I just jump. Jump up and down. I do sets of 50 because the caps start burning. I walk it off, do another set. And it's actually a nice change to use a rebounder and not. So when I go back to my California lake house, I'm literally going to be using a rebounder one day and switch it up because I realize that having a little variance is actually really cool.
There you go. Okay, so Pascoe continues later in the morning. He continues with short bike sprints, a morning run, outdoors if warm, treadmill when it's cold, the old P90 workout, and then he does core strength training. We're going to talk about core and in the gym. So that's what he does. So notice, guys, that he doesn't spend hours in the gym doing these extreme, crazy workouts. Nope, not at all, actually, because he just does something regularly. And then the next thing that talks about is nutrition. So team, Pascoe's diet consists of a balanced, nutrient-dense, probably single-ingredient foods, Johnny, nutrient-dense meals with lean proteins, healthy fats, and a variety of fruits, vegetables to support his training. Geez, I haven't heard of any magic yet, guys. There's no magic to any of this yet. I'm curious. Like, something must be wrong. Why is there no magic here? Meal plan for breakfast. He has a green banana and a bowl of chia seeds, berries, and spices with some unsweetened almond milk. For lunch, he has options which include canned seafood, sardines, mussels, avocado, fruits, apple, pear, raw vegetables, and bone broth. Pascoe emphasizes consuming a wide range of foods to maximize nutritional density. Again, we talk about micronutrients, right? So we talk macros, but what he's really talking about is your micronutrients. Yes. He avoids caloric restriction, but focuses on limiting simple carbohydrates, allowing him to eat freely without weight gain. I know Johnny's just leaning into all this and loving it.
I mean, come on, man. This is the shit that I teach.
I know, yeah. So he takes over 150 supplements. Now, listen, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the supplements kind of thing, but he takes 150 supplements every day to boost his health and performance, focusing on recovery, cellular function, and overall well-being. The argument being, if you eat enough nutrient-dense food, you might not need all these supplements, but the reality is you probably don't eat enough nutrient-dense foods to get all these supplements, which is why Pascoe supplements his diet.
Well, real quick, let me just jump in right there, brother. The problem is that our food has become less nutrient-dense. So it's becoming, unfortunately, unless you're literally getting your food from like an organic farm, you're not getting food with the density that's needed. So as time goes forward, we are needing to lean into supplements. And when I say supplement, I'm talking protein powder. I'm talking about the micros that we're not getting in our food.
There you go. So Pascoe's daily routine, Johnny, Marty, coach, also includes amino acids to address nutritional deficiencies associated with aging. And there's some recommendations of what he has. And he incorporates grass-fed beef liver, which is rich in vitamins, antioxidants, and peptides, supporting inflammation control and cellular health. Johnny, I know you do shit that everybody does and nobody else will do. Are you a liver consumer?
Dude, liver is freaking crazy. Just so you know, when I do liver, I just take it. It's a big old nasty sucker. I just cut it into strips, and then I just literally pull it out. It's about that long, and I just drop it down my throat like an earthworm. And it just slides right down.
Marty, I don't.
That's all right, Mark. I do the shit that most people won't.
You know, does it start in a plastic baggie against your thigh, though?
But here's the thing. No, I don't like the liver warm. I like that shit cold.
Oh, that's where you draw the line.
But I thought we don't do it for taste. I thought we don't do it for taste.
That's my whole point, is that I'm not doing it because it tastes good. I'm doing it for the purpose. But it's more pleasurable. If you're looking for, because you're always looking for a little pleasure in your purpose. I enjoy that cold, slippery, nasty thing going down my throat better than when it's warm.
Oh my God.
There's so much there.
Interesting.
But the problem is it's not easy to come by organic, because you got to do organic, because if it's not organic animal, that thing is filled with toxicity. So you don't just run to the store and buy the first beef liver you can find. You got to make sure that it's actually, that animal is raised properly, or you're not doing yourself any favors.
I thought Jory said it's not always going to be organic, though.
But you're talking about an organ that's designed to filter toxicity. No, people need to understand this.
You're right.
The liver is designed to filter toxicity. So if that animal was punished with toxicity, that liver is not going to be what we want it to be.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition, he also takes some supplements that contribute to, the supplements include beef liver, heart, kidney, pancreas, and spleen. So he's all about having these grass-fed supplements. Sleep optimization. We talk often about sleep. Pascoe aims for 8 hours of quality sleep nightly. He tracks his sleep. He uses PEM therapy and wears blue light blocking glasses. Therapies in recovery: infrared sauna, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, peptides boost circulation for quicker recovery. And then it shows his daily management here about his daily routine and what he does. He gets up, no alarm, no stress. He wakes up whenever I wake up, no alarm, no stress. Interesting, right? He's conditioned his body just to get up, right? Johnny, gratitude journaling. Pascoe journals every single day, reflecting on daily gratitude to enhance positivity and well-being. He uses technology to reduce blue light exposure, and he maintains a regular sleep schedule to support restorative sleep patterns.
Now, let me sneak in there real quick. So when we're talking about sleeping and sleeping adequately and journaling, what he's doing is he's limiting the release of cortisol, because cortisol will age you like a mother. So when your daily routine is about keeping cortisol at bay, that's going to help the aging process massively.
If you want to look at anybody in culture aging in front of your eyes, I would invite you, nation, to look at any president of the United States, a picture of when they got into office.
Oh, yeah.
And a picture of when they leave office. That is cortisol right in front of your eyes. Actually, hey, you guys see what happened in Detroit yesterday? Obama did the Eminem rap there with M and the Red Around. It was fun, actually. Neat. Anyways, we're talking. Okay, so we're continuing to talk Dave Pascoe's daily routine. Now he spends $30,000 annually on his health regimen, which is considerably less than Brian Johnson spends, which Brian I think spends up into the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. But here, so we're talking his routine to live longer. But here is the key to Dave Pascoe's success, and this is the fleeting challenge every human being has, which is why in many ways I created this show, so we can find and help people with this idea of accountability. The biggest key to Dave Pascoe's success, John, Marty, Coach, consistency.
Come on, man. That's what it's all about.
His regimen, his discipline makes the tough choices for him. All he needs to do is follow through. In other words, it's like brushing his teeth. He just brushes his teeth. He just wakes up and goes through his activities throughout his day. And by living his activities throughout his day, he's effectively living longer. The key to all of this, nation, the key to all this fucking motherfucking snake oil is being consistent and being accountable. And which is why we started the show, because every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, we are here. So if you are struggling to stay consistent, if you are struggling to be accountable, this show is your free accountability partner. John, Marty, Christina, comments on Dave Pascoe before moving to the In the Gym segment.
Oh man, this is the bottom line is that he's doing all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And the proof's in the pudding.
Yes.
But what he's saying at the end of the day is you can have the greatest plan in the world, but if you're not doing it, it doesn't make a goddamn bit of difference. And a quick takeaway for everyone, if you say, look, I want a piece of this action, what I would say one of the best things that somebody listening can do to get in the game is to have everybody pretty much has an alarm that wakes them up. Now, put an alarm when it's time to go to bed. When you start having a set bedtime and a set wake up time, your sleep will improve massively. And by improving your sleep, that's one of the biggest tools in that whole kit and caboodle. Managing your sleep properly is going to be at the top of that list.
Yes. Marty, comments on Dave Pascoe?
Yeah, I think it's cool. A lot of people think aging is just inevitable and there's nothing you can do about it. They think you're supposed to just deteriorate. But obviously we're going to get older. You're not going to be like you were in your 20s. But there are ways to slow it down. You know, when you study nutrition, you study sleep, you study fitness, you study hydration, you study things like that. What's his name?
Pascoe. Dave Pascoe.
Like Pascoe was just doing. It's pretty interesting. I want the education to get more out there. And y'all haven't met my mom yet, but my mom is 58.
Yeah.
And she's aging backwards as well. She does these things. She's putting it in practice as well. I see it firsthand. My mom was close to 200 pounds at one point. So I see my mom's transformation. So that's why I don't take anyone's BS when they talk about old age being the reason why they're falling off. So it's preventable.
Oh, I love it. Thanks for sharing. We got to get Miss C Marty Fit on the show and talk about transformation with Miss C Marty Fit.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I would love to meet her.
Me too. Absolutely. Christina, what did you take from that before you head in the gym?
I love it because I think we always hear about the Brian Johnsons, the biohackers that are doing the complete extreme, which is really cool to see what our body is capable of doing. But what I love, what Dave Pascoe is doing, you might argue Wim Hof is doing the same thing, is showing us what can we do and what can we access in every day to be able to help us with this process. You're not going to do the whole thing, and nobody's asking you to do the whole thing. You're not going to spend $30K, most people, on your health at this point in time. But what you can do is take the 90%, which he's showing you, fuck this infrared saunas and maybe even like supplements, try to get it through food. But most of what he's saying is accessible to the average person. We'll say not everyone, of course, but the average person. And so it gives people like me, people in our audience, I think, a lot of hope that this is accessible to them too.
You know what, Tina?
Yeah.
I don't agree with you.
Okay, tell me.
There are people spending $20, $30, $40 on coffee and parking and bullshit every single day to the tune of 30 to 40 grand a year.
Maybe.
I'm just wondering.
That's an argument. That's an argument for sure. Trade in your Starbucks, trade in your foam caramel triple latte, cream this, cream that, and start investing in some better food and set a goddamn time to go to bed on your phone, and shit'll start changing.
I'm just wondering. Like, I'm wondering, Marty, because you educated me on the cost of a Starbucks coffee, Marty. I'm thinking to myself, geez, I buy a couple coffees and go park in New York City. There's $100.
Now, I say this: both of you are valid, right? Christina's right and Keith is right.
Yeah.
But I will say, I've seen people who say they can't afford some of the simplest things, but they in Cabo, Cancun, they got on Louis Vuitton. So you're absolutely right, Keith. But Christina, you're right as well. And I think along with that, Christina, is education. Those people who don't have the access, they also don't have access to the education too.
We got to remember one simple thing here. The man who believes he can and the man who believes he cannot are both correct.
That's what it is. Like the people that can't, and I've been that person before, the people that look at the program and go, I can't afford that. It's not the reality. Just like the people that say I can't get the workout and I don't have the time. That's not the reality. There's a scarcity mindset that is really fueling that, which is a much deeper conversation. But yeah, I agree.
Yep.
That's right.
Guess what I got to say to them, Johnny?
Or that.
Fuck average. Fuck no excuses. Fuck mental weakness.
Yes.
There it is.
That's why we wear the shirt every day, man.
You know the problem is that when I sit here, my cleavage, you can't see what it says with my cleavage. I got to sit opened up.
Legit cleavage, actually. Real
All
good.
right, so we have a choice to make here. I would love to get a couple minutes with you guys to talk some core strength here. Maybe you guys can take a few minutes here to talk how to build the ultimate core. For those that are tuning in and wondering how they can build themselves a good core, John and Marty, let's take a few minutes to get into some core strength exercises and core strength ideas for Business Athlete Nation. And then we'll wrap it up. I know you guys got to rock and roll because Keith and Christine are going to get into Community Corner and Creator Spotlight. But guys, let's just do a quick hit for Nation that are tuning in right now that are thinking, gee, I want to work I need to do a core workout today, but I don't know where to get started. John, Marty, can you point them in the right direction?
Go ahead, Johnny.
Let's do it.
I think the first thing that we got to understand is that this, like I said in the beginning of the show, this whole idea of doing a core workout came into existence when all these machines were brought into play, where you can sit there and you can work a muscle group and let the rest of your body relax. So the simplest way, if you want to stay on top of your core, is to stay off the machines, the ones that basically let you isolate a single muscle. If you're doing a curl, a dumbbell curl, and you're standing there, your core is working. But now you want to get onto some sort of a machine, like a preacher machine, where you're locked in at the shoulder. The only part that's working is the bicep. Your core is relaxed, so it's not getting worked. So I come from the school of, if you feel I don't have time to do core work, then great. Stay off the machines, and the core is going to take care of itself.
I love that. Absolutely agree 100%. And Keith, write this down because I got a counter to John. Not that I disagree with you, but the counter I get is bodybuilders and competitors, they tend to focus on more machines. But hearing that from someone like you with the compound movements and the barbell, that's a good topic to talk about. So Keith, write that down. But back to the core situation, I wanted to just add in to make things more practical. I like to do things like leg raises anytime I'm using that lower abdomen. In my opinion, those are the best ab exercises. And then the only other one I would do outside of that is a cable crunch, because I feel like it's important at times to treat the ab like you would your chest or your legs, train that muscle for hypertrophy and really try to exhaust that muscle and engage that muscle. That's probably the only thing I do outside of anything involving leg raises to build my core. How you feel about that, John?
Yeah, there's no question. That's good stuff. It's good stuff for sure. A funny side note. I was just sitting here thinking, I can think of 3 guys, I'm not going to mention their names, all pro bodybuilders who don't train the abs unless it's for a photo shoot.
I've heard that too. Yep.
because
I've heard that too.
When it comes down to it, if you're training with compound movements that are work your core, and you're working hard enough, doing the core, doing extra core is sometimes not beneficial.
I agree with you. I might hit core 3 times a month. So I'm with you. I do it sometimes just to mix it up. But it comes from your diet. It comes from the nutrition. For me, when I'm not getting my water intake, I know the difference in my abs. When I'm on top of my water, which is usually I got to drink over a gallon a day if I want my abs to look the way I want them to look. It's the nutrition part, honestly.
Yeah, and damn, we got to touch on that for sure. If you're one of these people going to the gym working your core so you can see your abs, shit, you need to go home and work in the kitchen to get your diet cleaned up, because you can do all the core and all the abs and all the leg lifts and all the shit you want. And if your diet is poor, you've already got the abs. It's just hidden under about 2 inches of belly fat. That's the problem. Remove the belly. Everybody has abdominal muscles. Everybody. We all have abs. The difference is, I think it's the percentage. I think it's 1 or 2% can actually see them. Yeah. You come out of the womb with abs. You got them. It's just, and as you grow and as you get bigger, they're there. You just stop eating the goddamn fast food so you can see them, and you're going to be all right.
And if you are eating fast food and you're drinking alcohol every weekend and you want to see your abs, you're working backwards.
Yes.
It has a direct effect on that. I don't care how many abs you want to do. You could do 1,000 sit-ups and 1,000 bicycles and 1,000 leg raises. You're never going to see your abs if you are fueling your body with trash.
Really? That's so you could do abs till the cows come home and you ain't never going to see those abs.
argue abs are the most monetized, marketable image that the fitness industry sells, right? And Johnny, I almost fell over when I heard you say that these bodybuilders, no names mentioned, will only train their abs when it's time for a photo shoot.
Yes.
Because a lot of humans, they see the picture of the abs. I got to go with those abs. I got to go to the gym and I got to go 60 crunches.
Crazy.
How many fucking headlines do we see in all these fitness magazines? Do this routine to get a 6-pack abs. We should make a whole just YouTube channel, John and Marty, on just dispelling constant myths about how to build abs.
Like, well, here's the thing: if you were somehow able to go back in time and watch what I've done with micro training, you're going to find me doing core work to either warm up, or you're going to find me doing abdominal work when I had like a surgery and I couldn't actually do the shit I wanted to do. Okay. I can't squat, I can't deadlift, I can't overhead press. So my knee is recovering from a surgery. So yeah, I'm gonna do the leg lift now. Because I can't train the way I want to, my abs and my core need that work. So I'm gonna fill in that gap. Here's the thing. Next time you're at the gym, just go to a squat rack and basically it's just a straight up, it's called a strict press, a bar. All you're doing is just doing a standing military press. You want to feel your core getting worked.
Yes.
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you incorporate that into your workout once a week, and you're going to get so much more out of your core than you're doing all the goddamn machines that the gym has to work the core. There's a whole room. Gyms have whole rooms dedicated to the fucking core, for Christ's sake. And all you got to do is stand in a squat rack and do some overhead press.
Yeah, Marty, Johnny, AJ taught me a good core exercise is not only doing the overhead press with the barbell, but doing the overhead press hold. So holding it for a minute, right? Just hold, like doing 21s and just holding. Oh my God, you're like, oh my God. Your core is, you're just, because you're in your shoulders. That's good. That's real good.
A front squat. Check this out. So one of the things that I did in my strength career is I would just, like I told you with squats, front squat, same thing. I would pick a weight and I would just go to the end. Well, like 405 on a front squat. I was never able to quite make it to 20 reps. I was so close. But what happened, 18, 19, it wasn't that my legs couldn't stand up. It's that I would fold over in the midsection because my core would fail far before my legs would. But you want to talk about developing core. When you're taking in a core, in a compound movement like that, when your core actually fails, that's some serious work. In my whole strength career, when I was healthy, when I wasn't hurt, I didn't do anything for core. My core was working the whole goddamn time.
Hey, Marty, so how does Johnny do 405 with the front press? The front squat with the movement with the hands and the fingers and Johnny, were you balancing that on your chest plate?
No, I'm going here, baby. I didn't. But if I was doing lots of Olympic lifting, like if I had some contests that had a lot of this shit would open up pretty good, and I could hold it that way.
Man, we got Mike coming in with spot reduction works in the brain, not on the muscles. And then Mike comes in with this one too. The best abdominal exercise is a long jump, no contest. There's my comments on that. So great nuggets, guys. I love this.
Quick, you know what else? Plate push. You know what a plate push is?
Yes.
Push that plate away from your stomach on the table. Get it away from you. Stop eating so much. Stop eating the wrong food. Push the alcohol away. Push all the bad stuff away. That works too.
That's good, man. That's good, nation. The plate push on behalf of just push that plate away. I love that, Chris.
Push the plate away.
All right, gentlemen, let's bring Flynn on the stage here. Coach Jimmy, let's bring Flynn up on the stage. Let's quickly wrap this up here. What a great segment in the gym here with John and Marty here talking core here today. I know, Marty, John, you guys got to rock and roll. Let's quickly go around the table. The highlights from today's show. Johnny, start with you today, pal. What'd you take from today's show, brother?
You know, I like the fact that I think everybody resonates with wanting to stay younger, especially once you get into your 40s. People are like, holy shit, this life's getting harder. So that's when people start to realize I need to do something. We basically profile the guy who does all of this stuff, and there's some very actionable stuff within his plan. But more importantly, at the end, what he explained was if you don't have the consistency, it doesn't work. And I think it so aligns with what we're all about. So I thought that was pretty powerful shit.
Yeah, I agree. Marty?
Yeah, Jay was great. I like when people, they don't just give like the business tips. They give the life tips too. And that burnout stuck with me because sometimes you got to have a tragic moment, not tragic moment, but something that sticks out that make you change. And I love how he talked about his burnout. That really stuck out to me.
Yeah, well, I loved how you went there with that question, because like I said, I didn't know you were going with that question. And that question, frankly, his response in the post he put on LinkedIn, Marty, is what brought him on the show, because he talked about his burnout and how you don't achieve success overnight. So I thought that was great. Definitely a great guest. Flinner, what did you take from today's show?
Yeah, Jay was my highlight as well, because I think as entrepreneurs, we sell our time for money. And I'll never forget somebody saying to me, they're not paying for your time that they're spending with you. They're paying for the decades and decades of time that it's taken you to get the information and the knowledge that you have. So it doesn't make sense that somebody would pay you per hour, because that hour can't be reflective of what you're actually bringing to the table. And that was really eye-opening for me as an entrepreneur. And I think the digital product route is really interesting, but also just the idea of free. Dave Pascoe, who we highlighted, he gives his entire program on his website. He just gives it to people. I don't know if he trains them or coaches them otherwise, but we do have a scarcity mindset around this idea of people are going to steal it. People are going to steal it. People are coming for you. Mm-hmm. They're going to want to work with you. If they get your system and they take it and they go elsewhere, cool, fuck them, whatever, let them go. They're coming. People are going to want to work with you. It's not just your system. That's
why I laugh when people, Christina, say, oh, they're going to take my idea and they're going to make it. Yeah. Or they're going to.
If that was that easy, we'd have all sorts of like crazy successful people all around us.
Right. Because Johnny, it's one thing to steal my idea, but here's the magic again, nation. And Pascoe talked about it. And we talk about it every single day here on the show. Okay. You stole my idea. Can you consistently execute it day after day?
That's it right there. Here's the thing. You won't do what I choose to do. It's just that simple. You won't do it.
Yes.
Can you? Absolutely, you can, but you won't.
Yes. And a fitness program from anyone else versus a fitness program from John and his unique perspective and his story and his experience. Yes. And the same goes for all of us. That's what people are buying. They're not necessarily saying, just give me exactly what you have. They're saying, I see myself in you. Your story resonates with me. And I think that you can help me become the person I want to be.
Yep.
Exactly. What a great show. I took two things. Jay Malone was great. I want to have Jay back. I loved his energy. And he talked about in many ways, what he talked about was similar to what Pascoe talks about, right? Just back to consistency. And I love when you throw that on my desk here, Flynn, around Pascoe's, how he's living longer. I love how it all ended. When I saw that last point about consistency, I'm like, boom, that's it. That to me is the whole point, because that is what everybody struggles with. And then I bring it back to this show. That's why I created this show. An accountability free platform for people to wake up, to have a reason to get up and get out of bed. And when I called Marty up and said, Marty got this thing going, I'm fucking showing up, and Johnny's showing up, and Flynn, now you're showing up. That to me is what this is about, because there's nobody else getting up and creating a consistent accountability platform like Mornings in the Lab. So guys, if you're getting up and you're struggling to get started, that's why we're here. Because we're trying to teach consistency. It's fucking hard, man. It's hard. Do you think you guys all
lead by example, baby? That's what we're doing. We're leading by example. That's it. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit what a parent or even a leader says. They care what a leader's willing to do.
Yeah. And I'm gonna leave last word to my lovely bride here, who I know is gonna live longer. It's really just about back to basics. Nothing complicated about longevity. And actually, guys, nothing complicated about working out, nothing complicated about foods. We all overcomplicate everything. And listen, I'm not trying to talk down. I struggle with all this as anybody does. But it really is simple, right? We got to try to be consistent and make good choices every single day.
And the habits, when we stack them, that's what makes it very doable for the big picture.
That's it. All right, John, Marty, I know you guys got to rock and roll. You guys have yourself an awesome day. Keith and Christina are going to pivot to the community corner, and then we're going to wrap up with some business and branding. We're going to rock and roll here. So, John, Marty, have a good one, guys.
You too. See you tomorrow.
All right.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Yeah. Okay, Nation, Jimmy, Christina, Felix, what's shaking, brother? And hey, to our friends in the Philippines there with that typhoon, I hope things are, Christina, it's crazy over there, right?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in a lot of places in the world. And yeah, just sending love to people.
There's love everywhere, and love's a great segue to this segment, the Community Corner. This is where we celebrate the amazing creators making an impact in their communities. And as you guys know on this show, we spend a lot of time celebrating the folks over on the LinkedIn platform, which is where we're going to continue our discussion today. And today, hey, Felix, here's the marker as you're doing the cut for post show. Today for Creator Spotlight, hang on that, we're featuring an accomplished founder, an investor, a creator who leads ventures, advises companies, and invests in growth opportunities through his company's Vertical X and the VTX Athlete platform, as well as Vertical Sports Capital. The guy's an extreme athlete. He's a business athlete. With relentless drive and focus, he pursues high performance challenges that reflect his passion for pushing limits. He's a global connector. He leverages diverse background across athletics, corporate entrepreneurship, creating impactful transformation and fostering connections worldwide. Today, we're going to spend some time celebrating somebody who is all the way from Austin, Texas. He's a founder. He's an investor. He's a board advisor. He's an extreme athlete. He's a business athlete. He is Jose Carlos Charlie Sarmiento. Jose Charlie Carlos Sarmiento. Christina, I think I did pretty good with the name.
I think you did good, but I'm not the one to tell you whether or not you did well. So who knows?
This is why we're inviting Charlie on the show. And I know Charlie and his friend Mario Hernandez are going to be joining us on the show coming up for this new segment called Community Corner. We're going to celebrate some of the folks. You guys know Mario's been on the show. He's doing some great work in the philanthropy space. And Mario was like, hey guys, I got somebody we should celebrate. And we're like, oh, who's that? And we're like, it's Jose. It's Charlie Sarmiento. So Christina, why are we celebrating Charlie Sarmiento today?
I think you said it already. Like, he just exemplifies the business athlete. Yeah. He not only is an extreme athlete himself and has been there and done that, but he is building out this portfolio of companies where he's excited about. He's building SaaS products related to Vertical X. He's building capital investment structures. And he's really just, obviously the mindset that's required to be able to do that is really powerful. His whole thing is about unleashing human potential and how is he going to guide others through continuous improvement and that self-mastery. And we know this from Mario. It's mission driven. There's something bigger there. There's something that's really driving him that is focused on purpose. And that's not just about transcending industries, but also really like it's setting a really powerful example for people. So I've got a lot of respect for Charlie. We're going to be getting him and Mario on the show next week for Community Corner. We're excited to have them. And I thought, why not highlight him now? Because who doesn't need these moments as an entrepreneur when people actually see you and see the good work that you're doing?
Yeah. So Charlie, congratulations, man. I know we connected on LinkedIn there and Mario speaks very highly of you. I'm excited to have you here in the lab coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I invite you to follow Charlie on LinkedIn for insights on leadership, entrepreneurship, high performance living. And if you're an athlete, if you're an extreme athlete, I think Charlie will probably resonate with you. Check him out. Check out Charlie Sarmiento over on LinkedIn and all the great work that he is doing. Okay. Tina, let's rock and roll, move over to business and branding segment here today. And I want to talk about balancing growth and authenticity. We talked today about leveling up your life, tips from an entrepreneur. And Tina, in the world of business, it's easy to focus solely on growth. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta grow. Gotta go, gotta grow. Gotta grow, gotta go. It's just constant, right? Gotta grow. But then sometimes, Tina, we may lose our authenticity along that path, which might lead to burnout. Jay talked about that, right? He just went hard constantly because he had to grow, right? Some might lose your brand identity. Some might ultimately disconnect from the audience by just focusing ultimately on growth and the bottom line. Tina, you're an expert in branding. You're an expert in, you've started a business. You've had your troubles in business. You've had your journey in business. How do you help businesses balance these two crucial aspects of growth versus growing authentically? Oh, I think I lost your audio, Tina. There you go.
We got it?
Yeah.
My dog was barking in the back. I had to shut that shit down.
Oh, so if it was during the pandemic, people be like, Tina, that's not professional. You should not be having your dog on the show here because that's not professional, Christina.
Or if a baby cried in the background, oh my God, you would feel so much embarrassment. Now my kids will just come in the room while I'm in meetings and I'll be like, listen, it's just my life, fam. Speaking of authentically, that's just my life. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to be ashamed. If I can help our audio and our post-production by not having my goddamn dog barking in the background, I'm going to try.
There you go.
I can only do my best. But for me, I think so many people, especially those that I work with that are later in their career, they're transitioning, whether they're trying to find a new industry, they're trying to find a new role for themselves. They want to be thought leaders. They want to build a brand. They want to be on paid boards, whatever it is. They've spent a lot of time in the corporate world, and many of them, in doing so, they think they have a mission. But what often tends to be the case is that they've taken on the company mission and vision as their own. And that's very common in the work that I do. So the first place that I start with folks is say, all right, who are you? What is the authentic you versus what they think is the authentic them? And that's really where we start all of this, because otherwise you're not going to be one. I don't believe in balance. Like, that's not a balance of, growing authentically and just growing in general. I don't think balance exists. It's a blend. And so the blend and the goal to get to the blend is, all right, who are you first? What are you working towards? What are your goals? What's your story that led you to this moment? What are the connection points that you probably can't even see yourself? And then we'll start on the other things. But if you don't know who you are authentically, it doesn't matter how many fucking times you use the word, you're not actually going to be able to show up as that person.
In your experience working with the leaders you work with, are more and more businesses opening up to this idea of bringing your true self to work and being authentic and growing not only yourself as a human, but growing along with the company so that they aren't mutually exclusive?
I think that a lot of companies are saying that they are, and I don't think the reality is showing it. A lot of the people that I'm working with, when they are coming out of the corporate world, they're in a bad way. Mm-hmm. They have given a lot of themselves for decades, many of them. Some of them have left by choice. Some of them haven't been left by choice. But regardless, or some of them got kicked out, quite frankly. They were fired or they were packaged out. And they're in this position where they've given a lot of themselves to an organization and to a career that now they're seeing on the other end of it didn't really give a shit about them and didn't really give a lot back to them. So there's a mindset that needs to happen and to occur in that moment. But I do see a lot of companies talking about it. I'm not in the corporate world, so I can't speak to it. But from my own experience with clients, I think a lot of it is talk and it's not necessarily reality.
So when we talk about leveling up life and we talk about a CEO or a business leader who wants to grow the business, is head down growing the business, you're talking about growing the business at that point in your head and all your daily activities. Are you actually sacrificing what's behind the business, which is you, or can one do both? So what I mean by that is that as I was growing ICUC, I built the business and the brand on the backs of my personal brand to start that baby off. It was Keith, because nobody knew what an ICUC was. Nobody knew what the business was. So it was me. But then over time, that translated from me going away and the business coming forth. And then then the business kept growing. I was focused on growing the business. My personal brand, Keith's identity, largely went away. I woke up one day separate from the whole thing. In many ways, maybe lost my identity. So I'm wondering if there are other business leaders, other CEOs that are growing their company, that they wake up one day in their 20s, 30s, 40s. You might have even alluded to it, Christina, going, oh, I've just put the last 5-10 years of my life, my personal brand, into company ABC over there. I want to try to do something else, do something new. I haven't taken any time to grow myself. Do you follow me?
Yeah. And it's why I talk about a couple of things. One, that I think personal brand is really just a way to execute against personal growth.
Yes.
And to me, they exist completely together. If you want to build a really strong personal brand, you have to be willing to do the personal development. You have to be willing to do the personal growth. To me, they have to exist together. And the reason for that is because, one, you want to make sure that you're pushing that brand in the direction that is authentic to you and that suits you and the life you ultimately want to live. But two, exactly what you're saying, because I've done this before. When I was in Web3 and NFTs, I had a digital agency and I built my brand around this industry on one particular platform where the industry lived, this market that I didn't control. And all of a sudden, when all of that went away, I realized that 2.5 years of building my brand in this industry, I could not transfer that to my next thing, because nobody really knew who I was. It wasn't about me. It was about the market and the industry and my agency. So all of a sudden, 2.5 years, and I think I figured it out because I've got this like personal brand on X, and I'm like, it went away. And that's why I took a step back to reflect and say, if I'm going to do this again, I'm going to do it based on me, because I've ADHD. I'm not doing anything for 10 years, any one thing for 10 years. I'm going to do a lot of things in my life. And I want to have a foundational brand that goes with me versus I need to start over again every time I build a new corporation, every time I engage in a new passion or activity. That's why the benefit is taking the step back first, figuring out who the fuck you are, and then identifying how do you build this brand that's more aligned with you, with the opportunity to talk about the things you're doing, but not have that brand focused entirely on those things.
We got some interesting comments from Cosmic Vision coming up here and with some lighthearted humor here, because lighthearted humor, we know Cosmic's a regular viewer of the show, Christina. Cosmic comes in and says, your true self, Christina, is that Regina George voice in your head, which is what we were laughing about yesterday on the show. But then Cosmic's next couple comments, I think, are really meaningful, which is this whole idea of don't forget who we are or where we came from. Merge yourself with all of yourselves in order to get the best version. Certainly a lot of value in that statement. And then what I like Cosmic says next is like the ego. We don't want the death of the ego. We need to merge the ego. I'm adding the last word there to that. It's just this whole idea of you can probably have both, but you have to have it with intention.
And I think the comment about Regina George is like statement on that's what I've named the voice in my head, because she's a bitch and she's a real mean girl. But I'm actually I'll disagree with you respectfully, Cosmic Vision, because I don't think that is your true self. My true self is not that voice in my head. That is my nervous system. That is my brain trying to warn me that something is not safe, that something is potentially risky. But that's not always in my best interest as an entrepreneur. It's trying to keep things easy. But when you're an entrepreneur, when you're trying to build your personal brand, it's not easy. It's really uncomfortable. And listening to that voice, listening to Regina tell me that's like the ugliest fucking shirt she's ever seen in her life, is not going to help me. I need to learn that she's there, and I need to acknowledge that she's there. I need to say, thanks so much. I see what you're trying to do, but you're not actually helping me right now. I need to do the things that are hard. I need to do the things that are uncomfortable if I'm going to grow.
Good advice. And Cosmic comes in with very true, Christina. What a great segment. You know what? It's a great place to end this segment off here. Business and Branding with Keith and Christina. And the question we asked yourself was, we're talking today about leveling up as an entrepreneur. And the reality is in business, growth and authenticity, they aren't mutually exclusive. I know when we get into our systems and our routines and our habits, we sometimes put the blinders on and we go. I like how Christina has acknowledged the awareness of, there's another voice over here though. And this voice, it's an authentic voice for me. I got a voice over here too that I battle with, and she pulls it out there, but it allows her to grow authentically while at the same time she's growing personally. So they're not mutually exclusive.
And it's hard. That's why you got to grow personally.
Yes.
The person you were when you started ICU is not the person you were when you sold it. Yes. It requires a ton of self-awareness and a ton of personal development to figure out who you are, what you're doing, why you do the things that you do. What are the stories that you're telling yourself that are hurting you? What are the stories you're telling yourself that are helping you? And really uncover and unbox like those identities that we hold in order to be successful.
Yes. Listen, cliche. We talked about leveling up here, and I'm going to leave you guys with this as we wrap up the show. And Cosmic, I appreciate your comments. Always love having you on the show here. Cosmic, I'm wondering what part of the planet you're from, because I got to crack a joke with you, but you do tend to join the show a little later. So I'm wondering whether you're on the Pacific coast there. But true growth comes when you stay true to who you are, while evolving and scaling your impact. And as Christina said, I was one leader in my late 30s starting ICUC. I'm a different leader today, and I've evolved. And I'd like to think that I've scaled my impact as I've evolved. Listen, no month is around the corner. It's like literally just over there. I can see it into next week. And I'm inviting you guys to think about the fact that I know you have some big audacious goals. Maybe you want to grow. Maybe you want to try to be more authentic with yourself. But to do that, you're going to have to say no to a lot of things in order to hit that one yes. So we put this little idea on the table, this little concept, this month that's coming, we can't get away from. It's called November. Think about what you can say no to next month so you can say yes to something the next day, the next month, the next year. Because, oh yeah, December and January 2025 is around the corner. So November is around the corner. Cosmic. Oh, Fresno, California. Good to have you here, Fresno. Good to have you here, Cosmic, and good to see you on the show. And to everybody else that's tuned in today, Lauren, Mike McQuillan, Yoel Adams. Who else we got here, Tina?
We got Kika on the horizontal, or Keek. Who else we got here? We had Shelly earlier. We had Mike McQuillan. We got Real Deal Prime.
We got Mike Hawka talking about eating Sunday brunches and so forth. So, Nation, we're going to get out of here. We got to go to work. I hope you guys got some work to do today, too. Tomorrow's Thursday. We have another guest on the show. Tomorrow we have
Carl Grant the third.
Carl Grant the third, not the first, not the second,
no,
but the third.
Whoa.
Carl Grant the third. Joining us tomorrow morning in the lab. And of course, AJ Zeglin joining us here from Mind Fuel. As Johnny said, we talked today with Jory. Food is one thing, but your brain is another. There you go. Tina, Jimmy, Felix, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one, Nation. Have an awesome day. Go and get it. Go and be that successful entrepreneur you are. See you guys. Have a good one. Ciao.